It's Powerback time on the Gutsy podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. Discomfort is temporary, but regret? That stuff is forever. Listen, today I am going off the cuff because I've had so many conversations with women lately that are downplaying themselves, second-guessing their abilities, staying in situations that are draining them, dealing with things because they don't want to rock the boat, settling in a relationship that doesn't respect them, settling for a job that doesn't value them, settling for clients that drain their energy, or a pricing structure or offers that don't serve them. Listen, if there is one thing you need to know about who I am as a person, who I am as a speaker, and who I am as a coach, it's that I will not allow you to settle. Today's Powerback is a call forward, a call to do the thing that you can't stop thinking about so that you can have the life, freedom, and impact that you crave. If you need a pick me up, shake me up, then this podcast episode is for you. I'm pretty wound up, if you can't already tell. I don't know. I've just been having so many conversations. The women that enter into my world, whether they're, exploring working with me, they are coming to me through an organization that I've held a keynote through. However we cross paths, the underlying thread through everything is this level of hesitation. Right? They want to make a change, but they feel stuck. They feel isolated. They don't know what to do. They don't want to upset the cart. They don't know what people are going to say. They feel bad about upholding boundaries, right? There's just been so much conditioning over the years, over the decades, the centuries, dare I even say, where women have just been disempowered. And what blows my mind about everything is that women are who keep this world running. Who is the one making sure that the kids are off and that the house is running well and that the meals are planned? And listen, I'm not saying or discounting that dudes don't do any of this stuff. My husband is a phenomenal member of our home. Not just a great husband, but our household does not have gender roles. There are absolutely great ones all around the world. But I just always come back to this thought of who's keeping the offices running? Who's making sure that the calendars are up to date? Who's making sure that we are communicating? Who's helping to maintain the relationships and expand opportunities? Women are so fucking powerful, smart, intelligent, savvy, knowledgeable, caring, empathetic. And yet we're questioning ourselves. Can I actually do this? This person's doing it better than I can. Will they still like me if I tell them no, right? This internal dialogue, it's loud and it's gnarly and it stops brilliant women from doing the things that they actually want to do. I normally plan out these Powerback episodes with a one sheet, an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, a couple of bullet points to hey, these are the things that I want to hit on. And then I go off the cuff and I use that as an outline. There is no fucking paper today. And I'm choosing to do this because I just want to give the raw take on what's happening. I want you to see yourself in this situation. I want you to feel oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one, but I now realize that I'm not. I want you to be empowered. I want you to be activated because, friend, you and I are meant to do great things. And second guessing yourself and settling for shit is not going to let you do that. Now, I want to acknowledge that, listen, change is hard. Change is uncomfortable. Most people run when we're talking about making big life changes or even small life changes. Or we talk about vulnerability or sharing or talking about the inside stuff on the outside. Most people want to run for the hills. It is not comfortable to be vulnerable. It is not comfortable to say, I don't know. It's not comfortable to admit to yourself something that you don't want anymore, a change that you want to make in your life, a huge shift that you want to make, a habit that you're ready to face. Why do you think that most people don't get the things that they want? Because they avoid the discomfort. It exposes a soft spot in their life. It makes them face their truth, and it calls you to do something about it. Listen, we can talk about change all day long, but unless we do something about it, it remains a thought, an idea, a wish, a desire. Change, inevitably, requires you to do something different. It challenges you to do something that is unfamiliar. This might rock everything that you know. It might rock your foundation. It might put you in a place of being new at something again. It might make you single or unemployed or wondering where your next client's going to come from. It might put you in a time or a space where you know no one. Heck, it could catapult you into what feels like the Sahara Desert, where you're standing in the middle and there's nothing and no one around and you've got to figure your way out. Well, doesn't all of that just sound incredibly appealing? No, nobody's like, oh, I can't wait to do that. Let's make the change. I can't wait to be vulnerable. I can't wait to not know what I'm doing. I can't wait to feel like I'm standing on stage fucking naked. So what happens? Natural human tendency. I know you've done this before. I know I've done this before. Okay? Not excluding myself here, is we go back to what we know. The same relationships, the same clients, the same job, the same habits. We go back to what we know because it's familiar. And that familiar creates a false sense of safety within your body and within your mind. And the wild part is, we know we don't want that thing anymore, but we know how to control it. You know how to dodge, you know how to pivot, you know how to talk about it, you know how to work with it, you know how to complain about it. All of that is familiar. And yet there is a part of you, even if it's a whisper of a moment, that knows this is not it. I don't want this anymore, but how do I get out of it? How do I make this change? It feels big. It feels complicated. It feels scary. I don't know who to talk to. I have no one to talk to. And maybe you start a little bit. You start to dip your toe in. You start to make some decisions, but then you feel like you're out in that desert. And so you go back. And there, my friend, is where the cycle continues. You get that spark of an idea. I've interviewed now at this point and worked with thousands of people, entrepreneurs, leaders, people just in growth mode, people craving change. And I have found that there is a general cycle to the thought process. And it goes a little something like this. First, you get what I call an aha moment, a spark, a desire, a new idea, something that you want to do or try. You know, I want to start a business. Oh, I want to go out on my own and travel. Oh, I want to learn how to cook. I want to go take this cooking class, right? Like something comes to you, a spark of an idea. Then you shift into what I call ideas in motion. This is when you are like investigative and you are just high vibrational. You are doing. You are talking to friends about it. You're asking other people about it. You are researching on the internet. You're probably got ChatGPT involved in some place. You're writing things down. You're researching stuff, right? You're just kind of in this nitty gritty, in the trenches, but in a really like exciting kind of way. This is where you're starting to believe in the possibility. But then inevitably, your brain gets involved. This is what I call the mental scramble. This is when you're like, I can't do this. Who am I to try this? I don't want to rock the boat. What are people going to say? I don't want to be the new one there. I don't know what I'm doing, right? I mean, I could write 18 different novels on all the things that we say to talk ourselves out of things before we get started. And then if we don't do anything with it, if we allow those thoughts to continue or the thoughts just simply take over in your life, you come to what I call the standstill. This is when you go back to what you know. Well, you don't sign up for the class. You don't leave the relationship. You don't apply for the new job. You don't file for your LLC. You just go back to what you know. But the problem with that is if it's really meant for you, if it's time to do this thing, or at least time to, feed a little bit more into it, that idea will stay with you and it'll grow inside of you. It'll fester up. It'll piss you off because you want this thing so bad, but you don't know how to get it. This is where most people live on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, for decades at a time. The good news is there's a way to break it, because I know for a fact that you know at least one person in your life that has broken this cycle, that has leaned in, that has made the gutsy move. Just in case you're not sure who that person is, you're fucking listening to her right now. But I also know that you know other people that have leaned into the discomfort and made changes in their life. And I also know that you have done this in another area of your life at some point in your lifetime. How do you think that you got the job that you have right now? How do you think that you got into the relationship that you're in right now? How do you think that you have the business that you own right now? At some point, you broke that thought cycle, you leaned in, and you took a step. I tell you that very intentionally to remind you that you're not new to change. You're just new to this change. And at some point, you made a change in the past, you figured it out, it all leveled out, and now it's your new norm. So if you've done it once before, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you can do it again. So how do we break that cycle? Well, good news, I'm going to tell you. This is now what we call the aligned thought cycle, okay? Same scenario. You get an aha moment, a spark of an idea, a desire, a wish. I want to change something. I want to go after a new job. I want to open a business. I want to learn how to cook new foods. I want to take a cooking class. You go into the ideas in motion. You're in the research. You're pulling things together. You're talking to friends about it. You're in ChatGPT. You're Googling stuff, right? You're in the doing, the figuring out. You're really amping this thing up. Now, here is usually when your brain kicks in. The difference is we're going to notice it. We're going to acknowledge it. Instead of it being this bonfire that's happening on the inside, I want you to say what you're thinking on the outside, verbally, actually say it out loud. The goal here is to interrupt the thoughts. When you don't say them out loud, it's like, I've said this before, it's my best analogy. It's like farting in a box. Okay. If you farted in a box and put the lid on, whenever you open that lid, eventually it's going to stink like shit. That's what's happening with your thoughts when they only stay in your mind. Whereas if you went outside and farted outside, or you went down an aisle, down a store, because somebody's done this before, okay? And you let the fart out there, guess what? It's got space to roam. It dissipates much faster. This is what happens when you say your words out loud. So the goal here is to interrupt your thought process. Say those negative thoughts out loud. And if you want to really pack up the punch, replace it with something else. Replace it with a belief statement. I am smart. I am capable. I love the idea of this. I can figure this out, right? Get a Post-it note and write one statement that supports your potential instead of your limitations. What happens a lot of times is when we're in the midst of one of these situations is we forget the tools that we have that work. And so having one simple statement, it doesn't need to be a whole paragraph, right? We don't need to write a mission statement about life. Just a simple statement, a few words that you can turn to interrupt those thoughts. What happens here is instead of going further into a mental scramble, you've interrupted the thoughts, and now you're in what I call self-belief. Self-belief is where you are replacing those thoughts with productive thoughts. I can do this. I can figure it out. I can ask questions. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I can figure this out some way or another. There is someone that I can ask. See, you're pouring back into your potential. You're leaning into the idea that, hey, I don't have to do this overnight. I don't have to have it all figured out, but I'm willing to take a next step. And that's what happens after this, is you take aligned action. You book the cooking class, you update your resume, you file for your LLC, right? You do the one next step that gets you closer to the thing that you want instead of driving yourself away from it. And that's breaking the cycle. I mean, it literally is as simple as that. I know it's not easy. I know in the moment it feels big and gnarly and scary, but this is what's possible. You have done this a million times, whether you realize it or not. You absolutely have. What you're being called towards next is just simply asking for you to do this again. That discomfort that you feel in the moment of change, when you push back, when you speak up, when you ask for what you need, when you allow yourself to pursue an idea, that discomfort is temporary. But the regret of not doing it, always wondering if you could, living in the space of what would have happened if I would have, that feeling is forever. That will stay with you forever. It will live with you forever. That wonder, that will eat you alive. I want to remind you that you don't have to do this shit alone. There is power in community. There is power in having somebody to guide you, to step forward with you, to call you forward, to call you out on your bullshit. This is what you can expect if you and I work together. I will lovingly call you out on your bullshit and also make sure that you walk away with knowing exactly who you are, remind you how powerful and gifted and smart that you are, and knowing what your next steps are. Clarity is everything. And if it's not me, there's somebody else in your world. Don't do this stuff alone. Listen, I know that you've been a strong, independent woman your whole life. I know that you are the person that everyone else goes to. I know that you are the strong one. You are carrying way too many fucking things on your plate on a daily basis. And asking for help feels like, no, thank you. I would rather just figure it out on my own. And to that, I ask you, how's that working out for you? I don't want you to live with regret. I want to see you do the shit that you can't stop thinking about. Running the business that gives you so much freedom and flexibility in your life. Having a job or a career that fuels you, that really values you, that allows you to use your gifts and abilities. Being in a relationship that makes you feel alive and seen and heard and valued. Doing activities that stretch you, that expose you to culture and art and travel and so many different options that are around the country and around the world. Learning new skills, having fucking fun again. My gosh, life has gotten real serious. It's gotten very serious very quickly, and it doesn't feel like it's ever going to stop, and it's really not going to. Unless we choose to infuse fun into it. Unless we choose to explore the parts of ourselves that we have had hidden behind the walls for so long. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of growth. It's a sign of leadership. It's a sign of expansion in ways that you can't even wrap your head around yet. I hope that today I have activated something within you. And if nothing else, made you question something that you've been dealing with, settling for, beating your head up against a wall over. Remember that discomfort is temporary. You can and will move through this. But that regret, the regret of not, that shit lives forever. That's what I got, my friend. Straight out of the depths of my soul. I want to see you win. I want to see you happy. I want to see you smiling. I want to see you doing the shit that you are so excited to do. When no one else is looking, that thing that lights you the fuck up, that's the one. And if there's no one else in the world that understands you, can guide you, can call you forward, can challenge you in the best of ways, then you've got me. I offer a free 30-minute session, by the way. I don't know if you know that. It's called a clarity session. I'll link it in the show notes below. If you just need to be heard, if you need to know what your one next step is, if you're like, there's something brewing here, I just need someone else to see it, then book a session with me. Because remember, I will not allow you to settle. And I'm going to deeply and unapologetically support you every step of the fucking way. I love you. I see you. And for the love of all things mighty, stay gutsy.